What is trance? To understand trance better, I think trance is extremely misunderstood, and that has also been exacerbated through media and movies and things like that. However, trance is a completely natural state of the mind. And the easiest way, if you drive a car, you all of a sudden arrive at a destination, you don't know how, you haven't been aware of how you drove there. But you drove there and you had no accidents or incidents. However, if someone was to ask you, oh, what did you notice along the way? You won't be able to recall any information at all. You're in a trance. We go into a state of trance at least 6 times a day, every single day of our lives. So trance is nothing new to the mind. You're not going to go into a hypnotherapy session and experience anything different than what your mind is already acclimatized to. I think the most alien part of a hypnotherapy situation is that you're in a room with an individual and you're in a vulnerable state, because you're going to be speaking with your unconscious mind, and not many of us have great rapport with our mind. It can take a long time to gain rapport with our unconscious mind. And I think the idea of understanding our mind, there's a lot of fear in that. And I think that is where the vulnerability and the alienness of a hypnotherapy session, I think that is where that comes from, that feeling and the fear around doing so. What if we discovered something bad or scary or had a bad experience? And all of those fears are very real, but they're not true. All of those things, those fears are brought up from a past experience, and through hypnotherapy you would also discover what those are, what are you believing, what is the bodily sensation, where are those perceptions and beliefs coming from. And also then you will allow the unconscious mind through your direct input, and the hypnotherapist is simply a tour guide, guiding you there, and prompting and maybe reading those statements, but you are the one that thinks the thoughts. You are the one that creates the trance. You are the one that is having the impact on yourself. A hypnotherapist is simply a guide. They are not a magical being. They are not doing anything that is overtly special in that sense. You are doing the hard work. However, I'll explain more around what trance is, because we see it in stage shows where all of a sudden someone is clucking like a chicken, or they're taking their clothes off in public, and that could be a state of trance. However, in the state of trance, you only abide by your own, because it is your own trance. It is not a trance that has been input into your mind. Trance is already within you, same as happiness is already within you. You don't go to a shop and buy it. Trance is in you. You can only abide by your own set of rules, morals, and ethics, and it's only what you want to do. So if you want to play into that moment and cluck like a chicken through that state, you've told your unconscious mind, yep, cool, let's cluck like a chicken like now on stage, and that's where that stage show comes from. However, I'll read a little more from Dr. Tad James, leading world he's a leader in the world of NLP and trance, and sadly we actually lost him. He passed away earlier this year when I was actually doing my advanced certification in neurolinguistic programming and hypnotism, and I choke up now thinking that he is gone. But it was so very special that we were there training with his knowledge that he gave us in that moment on the very day that he passed. And he's a brilliant man, and he's created much change for thousands and thousands and thousands of people around the world. And his wife, Ariana, she continues to do so. And all of us that have been trained by Dr. Tad James and his methods continue to transform the world. However, he speaks on trance in his book Hypnosis, a comprehensive guide. And I'll be reading from the chapter Trance and Rapport. The basis for practicing the art of hypnosis is an understanding of trance. Trance is the state in which hypnosis takes place. It is also a state we frequently enter in the normal course of a day. My favorite example of trance is on the elevator. You get into the elevator and the doors close and you lock up and watch the numbers flash 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to 7. The elevator stops and the doors open. You say, all right, wait, is this 7? That's trance. Even more familiar is the driving trance. And I spoke of this earlier, where one time I was driving along a stretch of Canadian 4-lane highway from Niagara Falls to Windsor. The road passes through beautiful country with majestic trees and a clear blue sky, and the air is amazingly clear. I was driving and listening to my radio, and all of a sudden my conscious mind clicked back into control, and I realized that I was 60 miles beyond my exit. The driving trance is an example of the unconscious mind taking over to direct behavior that would otherwise be conscious. Probably the most common trance situation of your day is watching television. Have you ever been watching television while a person you live with was having a full conversation with you, and you turned to that person and said, "What?" In TV trance, the unconscious mind can take you in and store long series of images. If you're going to do hypnosis with kids, you have to have them remember their favorite TV show, and they'll replay the whole thing for you. Trance is a normal, wonderful, relaxed, and very useful state. People go into it all the time. There are key differences between the trance you go into with a hypnotherapist and the trance you go into in the elevator, in the car, or in front of the TV. With a hypnotherapist, you are being guided into trance with a distinct beneficial purpose. A further difference is in the source of the rapport. When you are in a driving trance, you're in rapport with the radio, with the passing scenery, or with yourself. When you are in a TV trance, you're in rapport with the television. When you are in hypnosis or hypnotherapy, you are in rapport with the person who has assisted you into the trance, and your unconscious mind opens itself to receiving information directly and uncritically from that person. We all go into trance frequently. The issue is whether we are in our own trance without a clear purpose, or whether we have chosen or been assisted into trance for the purpose of learning or therapy. This becomes a major factor for you as a hypnotherapist when your client is in trance of his own. When that happens, the client's trance will not include you. In order to work with a client, you must first draw him or her out of their trance and then assist them into a trance based on rapport with you. You explore methods for doing this later in chapters within the book that go on to explain. However, rapport is the basis for success in hypnotherapy. It is the condition in which the client accepts your suggestions unconditionally without resistance. At the unconscious level, this enables the client to make the changes they want to make. Rapport opens the door to trance, the state in which we can talk directly with the client's unconscious mind. There's many stages of hypnosis and trance, and there's many different ways for you to enter the state of trance. And as we've seen in your daily life, you could be entering trance through TV, driving, sounds, noise, anything like that. You could be sitting in a meeting and you're in rapport with your own mind where you're running through thoughts and there's a large discussion happening around you and you are not paying attention to any of it. And you get to the end of the meeting, you're like, what did we just talk about? Even if you're sitting there reading slides the entire time and technically following along with the meeting, but you've soaked up no information. Your learning state was not there. You did not have rapport with the meeting. And that is also one way that you can be using the idea and the theory of hypnosis, trance, and rapport to improve business meetings by increasing the rapport of the room. Then you'll be in tune with the room. And it's one of the major critical factors to hypnotherapy that you must have rapport with the client and that you must have rapport with your hypnotherapist or your hypnotherapy practitioner so that you can be assisted and guided into a meaningful state of trance to gain the results you want to. So the motivation and the intent of entering this session and how you interact with the practitioner or the therapist is extremely important. As a practitioner myself, we only work with clients that are motivated and that they're intent on gaining positive outcomes, because if the intent is not there, the results will not occur. So you must be motivated. Your intent must be clear. Your intent must be positive. Your intent must be single focused on that outcome. If you go into a session, for instance, and you'll see many people where they just want to test it out and they just want to go in thinking, oh, this won't work, this will never help me. Similar is seen within cardiac surgery or transplant surgery, where if the patient does not believe or does not want the transplant, if they do not believe that it will take, there is a high rate, there's a high statistical outcome that has been monitored and researched over many, many years now, that if the intent is not positive on the behalf of the patient, if they do not believe in a positive outcome, there is a high likelihood that that positive outcome will not occur. There must be a two-way exchange. And I think as a practitioner, firstly, I know that every single person that comes to me or anyone in the world, I see the possibility of them being limitless and achieving absolutely anything they want to do. I know that they can. I just know that. I believe that. I truly believe with every cell of my body. I know that if someone wants to quit smoking, they can quit smoking and they will never smoke again. They have to make that choice. How do you make that choice? That is through having an understanding and working with the unconscious drivers of that behavior. Why is that installed into your life? It's not the act of smoking. It could be anything. It's by chance that you have selected smoking as your thing. My body chooses to drop weight, or my body chooses to, when I'm depressed, it wants me to eat the wrong foods that don't have good nutrient content or omega-3s. It wants me to go get that bucket of KFC, or the crappy foods, or the desserts and the high sugar and the high caffeinated beverages that don't aid my state. That is what my unconscious mind drives me to, because it knows that I can get a quick fix. For you, it could be smoking. It could be poor relationships. What is a repetitive thing in your life that you want to overcome, that you don't have a full understanding of? Trance and hypnosis it is how you can tap into that and how you can gain meaningful change and rapid change. And that is just a nice understanding of what trance is. More to come.